Okay, so here's another vector geometry question. Okay, remember part A is the easy bit, part B is going to be the hard bit. So part A, just some simple vector addition. Let's just check that this information is on our diagram. So A to B is A to B is A to N is 2B, A to N is 2B, and N to P is 1B. So everything's on our diagram. So now, first thing for A, we'll show that PB is in terms of A and B. Okay, so to get from P to B, there's no direct route. So what I'm going to have to do is go around following the vectors. So first thing I'm going to do is going to go from P to A, and then I'm going to go from A to B. Okay, so P to A, I'm going against the arrows. So that's minus B minus 2B. That's minus 3B. And then I'm following the arrow from A to B, so I'm going to add an A. So that's A minus 3B. Okay, that's P to B. Brilliant. Okay, so that is our first part taken care of. Right, now we're going to show that NMC is a straight line. Okay, so that means that we're going to show that NMC is a straight line. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to use parallel vectors. We're going to show that N to C is equal to something times N to M, which means that this red line is the same line as NM, but it's just a bit longer, which means that basically NMC is a straight line. Right, so the first thing we're going to need to do is work out what NC is and what NM is. So let's work out what N to C is. Okay, so N to C, again, I'm going to have to go a long way around, so I'm going to go from N to A, then I'm going to go from A to B, and then I'm going to go from B to C. Okay, well, N to A, going against the arrow, that's minus 2B, A to B, that's just B, and we're following the arrow because it's positive. Now, B, we're told, is the midpoint of AC. So that means that these two, A to B and B to C, are the same length. B's halfway between them. So that means that BC must also be A. Right, so let's add them together. We've got 2A minus 2B. So that's our NC. Right, now let's work out what NM is. So N to M, I can't go directly. So again, we're going to go the long way around. So I'm going to go N to A. Then I'm going to go A to B, as we did before. And then I've got to get from B to M. Okay, right, so NA, as before, minus 2B. AB, as before, is in A. Now, B to M is on the same line as P to B, which was what we worked out for our first part of A. Again, remember, we always use the stuff from A in the second half of the question. But now, remember, P to B is going in this direction. We're going in the opposite direction. So, as M is the midpoint or halfway along that line, that means that B to M is half of this, and we have to basically change the signs because we're going the opposite direction. So instead of being, so we're going to do half of, instead of minus 3B, that's going to be plus 3B, and instead of plus A, we're going to do minus A because we're going in the other direction. All right, let's collect these together. So I've got minus 2B plus A plus 3 over 2B, and then minus half of an A. Okay, right, so let's do the A's first. I've got A, and I'm taking away half an A. So I've got half an A. I'm taking away 2B, but I'm adding 1.5B, or 3 over 2B. So that means that I am taking away half b. Right, so now I've got NC and I've got NM. Now, is NC equal to something times NM? Well, you can see that NC is 2A minus 2B, and NM is half an A minus half a B. So that means that if I take NM and I multiply that by 4, I'm going to get NC. Because if I multiply this by 2, I get A minus B. Multiply that by 2, I get 2A minus 2B. So I have shown that these two are on the same line, but NC is just longer, and therefore it is a straight line.